Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is the Fantasy Baseball live stream. It is me, Joey P. Joe P. Zapia. With me, as always, is the Welsh. And today we've got a 10-team Roto mock draft action for you right here on the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got amazing content. We just did a hilarious, amazing, fantastic show yesterday with Nick Pollock. You can catch over there about pitchers. Lots of fun things going on the channel. We just did our infield preview, our outfield preview. And today we're going to go dive into the mind of Justin Mason, our guest, which could be a very dangerous thing, which is why we wanted to do it live. First and foremost, so Mason, obviously everybody knows you. You are super famous in the baseball world, in the fantasy world, and also Potapalooza begins this weekend. So tell us this year, Mr. Do-Gooder, what charity are you guys rocking this year for Potapalooza?
We're raising money for a fantastic organization called Keep Playing Baseball. They raise money to support kids who want to further their baseball careers. So these are high schoolers or junior college baseball players that have a dream of wanting to play further into, the minor leagues or upper level college, and they help assist that. They also help organizations for like little leagues in the Sacramento area. A really, really good organization, actually run by Toby G, Batflick Crazy's brother. So, and I've done some events with them before, and I was like, we should just do Potapalooza for you guys. So that's what we're doing. It's gonna be a 2-day live stream event. Start Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and is gonna go, I think, 9 hours each day. So it's gonna be a lot of amazing panels, including Joe Pizzapia, who's gonna be on one of those panels. And chatting with me, and I think Jason Collette. So you can catch it on my YouTube, my Twitch, on Fangraph's home site, and my Twitter, which is Justin Mason FWFB.
There you go. Now, does that also mean like old guys like me and Welsh? Like, if we want to keep playing baseball, does it help us or no?
Ooh.
We're out.
Develop cutters.
Yeah.
I mean,
knuckleball.
The Welsh got a pretty good cutter on his.
I got a pretty good cutter. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
I can still hit. I just, the fielding and the bending over for ground balls. I'm a DH only at this point in my career. I think that's.
I have video of you hitting. I mean,
yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Yeah. I've challenged Nick Pollock to a contest there, in Brooklyn. I said, look, I'll show up. We'll do it for charity. You go out there. I'll take 3 outs. We'll see if I get a hit off you and see what happens there. I'm still pretty confident there. Like running afterwards, that's a whole other story. I don't know how big the bases are. That's a whole thing we're going to dive into. But today it's all about the Roto formats, and because Mason's in so many drafts and so much going on, he's the perfect person to have on today for the show to get his insights on the draft. Before we get going here, against a 10-team draft, we're going to do corner infielders, 4 outfielders, 9 pitcher slots, and a few bench spots just to give you a little idea of what we're looking for on the bench. I want to remind everybody that, of course, we're going to be using our mock draft lobby that is part of our Draft Wizard product. So fantasypros.com/draft wizard, or just download the app because it is spectacular. It's the best way to get ready for all of your drafts, and this is a fun way. The public mock drafts are going to be open, and then, of course, you can create private mock drafts and mock with your friends, or just mock your friends if you want. Again, this is only available at fantasypros.com/draft wizard. It is the absolute best mock draft software you will find, period. End of story. It's incredible. And if you have a premium subscription to Fantasy Pros, don't forget you can also upgrade, and if you have keepers in your league, you can plug them into whatever rounds they are and then run the mock. I know that sounds amazing to you, and that's because it is. So go check it out right today, fantasypros.com/draft wizard, or just download the app because the kids love the app. Everyone loves a good app. And if you want to go premium today too, don't forget we can help you with that. So drop a comment here in the chat below and be a subscriber of our Fantasy Pros family on our YouTube channel on MLB. And we are going to be giving an upgrade, a premium upgrade for one of our lucky watchers and commenters on today's show. So you can unlock the most powerful fantasy tools in the entire industry. And if you don't want to wait for the giveaway, you don't have to. You go to fantasypros.com/premium and get going, and you can start playing smarter and not harder over at Fantasy Pros. So throw your hat in the ring, see if you can get a premium subscription. And if you don't get it today, well, go get yourself one at fantasypros.com/premium. Okay, gentlemen, let's get down to business. We have selected our spots. Welsh is such a wonderful guy. He didn't take the 1 spot. He took the 2. So he wasn't going to be, he's like, well, I don't want to make it too easy. I'll just go with the 2 spot. Mason is in the middle. He's the man in the middle at 106. I took the turn at 10. So Welsh, we are going to kick things off here What are you looking for? Is it just the Ronald Acuna start? Is your typical Welsh beginning?
If he's there, by the way, maybe a world record of the longest I went on a podcast without talking. That was a world record.
Absolutely,
I didn't say one word.
Yeah.
We went 5 minutes
I'm so
in.
proud of you.
I was actually worried if you were still with us. Maybe you.
I gotta be honest with you.
Something.
I was just gonna keep rolling with it. Like, you're just gonna keep going. If you hadn't thrown it to me, I wouldn't have said a word. I was going to see how long I could go on the over-under. All the rest of the episodes we ever do will be unders. If Ronald Acuna's there, he's my number one. I'm taking him. I might pivot a little bit. Aaron Judge goes number one. I don't have to worry about it. The pivot I was thinking about was Jose Ramirez. We've talked about the position scarcity at third base. It stinks. You get Jose Ramirez. You've got your 5 tools, a little bit low on batting average. I don't care that much. Actually, Justin, I'd be really curious during this to talk about, you kind of famously a couple years ago talked about the punt average in Roto. We don't use like to punt anything, but you jumped in and you were pretty prominent about the punting average. Not that Jose Ramirez is a punt average guy, but he kind of qualifies into that area. But I'm going to stick with my number one guy at 2, Ronald Acuna.
All right,
it's amazing you mentioned that, because I just wrote an article for FantasyPros about punting, and I have a whole section in there about punting average. So, and I think it should be up or maybe going up soon. So definitely go check out that article if you want to learn more about punting average and why it can be such a useful tool in Roto.
Look at that. I love the seamless plugging. It's so good.
Company man, right?
Company man, and I'm so glad to have you here. Part of the slowly but surely, we're like Cartman's Trapper Keeper. We start to absorb everyone we possibly can into our little Fantasy Pros family. Trey Turner goes at 103, Jose Ramirez at 104, my dude Julio at 105. Mason, yeah, almost had him. He was right there. You just missed him. So where do you go next at 106?
Oh, I think it's pretty easy, especially in a format like this where Shohei Ohtani is a pitcher and a hitter, to have the kind of flexibility to kind of go back and forth between the two. Even in a weekly league, it's such a nice advantage. But in a daily league, he's easily the number one player in fantasy. So Shohei Ohtani at 6 is a pretty easy snag.
All right. So after that, it goes Ohtani, Alvarez, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker. Then it is to me. So I have got some big options on the board here. I'm going to wait on pitching, especially because it's a 10-man league. That's typically my MO. I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice here with Mike Trout. And I know Vladdy's still out there too. I might come back and take him with my second pick here. But I just want to lock in Trout here. In the more shallow league, I'm more apt to have a little bit more risk on my teams because the replacement value is just a little easier. And outfield is still dreadful. If you're a 12-man, 10-person league, doesn't matter. It's still all terrible. You got to find outfield some way. So now it's a matter of, do I want to go with the infield, or I want to go back to a position like second base, outfield, where I can get a guy like Mookie Betts or take Vlad? Because first base is so tricky, I'm going to go ahead and take Vladdy and start my team out with Trout and Vladdy. I'm going to pass on Mookie Betts.
I'm
feeling the Dodgers.
You're shocking me on this one. I mean, no Mookie Betts, no Freddie Freeman, no Bobby Witt Jr. You just throw the gauntlet down and you're like, let's go Trout and Vladimir Guerrero. Screw those ranks. That's
Screw the ranks.
I love it.
Look, it might not like me on the way back. It might yell at me, but you know what? I'm going to give this a whirl here. Like, Vlad and Trout's a pretty good start if everyone stays healthy and does what they're supposed to do. Bobby Witt was in that conversation, but then he took a picture at you at spring training, now all of a sudden his stock went down a couple.
Oh, come on. It's a great picture. He's such a nice guy.
It's a great picture, but, friends of the Welsh, I don't know. Mookie Betts at 202, then Bo Bichette at 203, Freeman at 204. Bobby Witt's still on the board. I almost took him, Mason. Are you going to?
Oh, man. No, I'm going to take Manny Machado. I just don't know that you get any safer than Manny Machado. He honestly should be a first-round pick. And we talk about the positional scarcity at third base. Another article I wrote about at fantasypros.com. Go check that one out. It is definitely up. It came out last week. So, I love Manny Machado. He's just about as safe as you can be. He has the speed component, which I think everybody kind of forgets that he actually steals bases too, but he's always going to hit 30 home runs, going to hit for a decent average, and a great lineup. Love Manny Machado. All
right. Manny Machado hopefully won't opt out of your roster at some point in the season. Bobby Witt finally goes at 206. Corbin Burns at 207. Tatis just before Welsh. It's going to be one of those kind of days, Welsh, I feel like. Yep. All right. 209, Welsh. What do you got for us? 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do here. There's 2 third basemen I really like. I'm going to get one coming back because they're not going to take 2. So I'm going to take Pete Alonso, who's number 1 on my board for big power at first base. And I know I'll at least get one, and I get a choice of both because Garrett Cole and Paul Goldschmidt went back-to-back. Great picks there. I've got huge power here, and I'm starting off with Pete Alonso and Ronald Acuna. Acuna gave me the stolen bases that I want. I've got elite power in here. And at third base, I actually prioritize Austin Riley over Rafael Devers in most formats. The Fantasy Pros wants me to take Rafael Devers, and the batting average is a little bit of a tick up. And I'm actually going to pivot that way over Austin Riley in this instance because Pete Alonso, if I had taken Goldschmidt, I would have gone with my guy Austin Riley. I think these guys are 1-2. So I am going to go with Devers, even though I have Austin Riley over, just as a little uptick on the batting average. And I got my third base locked up here. So 3 straight hitters, Acuna, Alonso, and Devers for me.
Love the Alonso pick too. Garrett Cole at 210, Goldschmidt before Devers. After that, Jacob deGrom, Austin Riley, and only Austin Riley. Then Michael Harris, 306. Justin Mason, you're on the clock.
Ooh, so this is a play where the guy I really want to take, I think will be available in the 4th round for me. So I'm going to pivot a little bit and kind of go with the system. Sometimes you got to do that. Maybe you like a guy more than others, but on the draft ranks that you're using, the site you're using, it's guys a little bit higher. He's not going to make it back to him. That's Jose Altuve. You talk about a position that is scarce. I think second base is worse than third base by a lot. And something I talked about in the article that I wrote for FantasyPros.com.
I want you to take a shot, everybody. Every time
I was about to say, any more references,
article.
take a shot.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're all on the floor by the end of the draft.
So I'm taking my boy Jose Altuve,
which I wrote an article about.
Which I wrote about
out from being on the floor during your draft. So
I was gonna say, well, she's the hardest working man in Fantasy Pros. We really got to step up our game around here.
I know.
Okay.
Geez.
Normally, I typically don't go pushing for the pitcher this early. Welsh knows this, but the guy that I want the most is still out there. So I'm going to go ahead and take Spencer Strider off the board. I'm going to go pound the outfield some more here. 2 guys still on the board there for me. Randy Arozarena out there, Luis Robert out there. 2 guys that I'm very, very high on. I'm a little light in the stolen bases right now, I feel like, potentially. So I'm going to give that slight lean over to Arozarena, even though I'm going to lose some of the batting average. But I have pretty good BA there with Vladdy. So I think we're going to go ahead and take Arozarena, get some of those stolen bases in there. And I guess that might have been the guy. And I'm going to write an article about this. Ozzy Albies goes next at 402. Marcus Semien at 403. Nolan Arenado at 404. And angry Justin Mason at 405.
Yeah, that one, that really hurts.
That stinks.
Because that's who I would have taken in the 3rd round overall, Altuve. But I just assumed he'd make it back to me. Never fear, when Justin Mason is on a podcast, he talks about Cedric Mullins. So Cedric Mullins is the next pick. He's got the speed. He leads off. He is that fill-in for Arozarena for me.
Okay, so Cedric Mullins, certainly a good pivot there. Can't throw Justin Mason off. He's always on his game. Aaron Nola goes at 406. Shane McClanahan 407. Oh, and Edwin Diaz right before the Welsh, now 409. Welsh, it's time to regroup and make a pick here. 40 seconds on the clock. What do you got?
McClanahan hurt me. That was where I was going to go. He's at the top of my list. He's a top 5 SP for me. I love everything that he's changed this year. I don't worry about the injuries. I love the changeup, but I hate not having him on my team. I probably would have pivoted to Edwin Diaz. I got 2 guys that I don't mean to do this, especially in a roto format, but it's 10 team. There are elite hitters here, and I'm going to go with Jazz Chisholm, and then I'm going to hope that Corey Seager is going to pop back, and then I'm going to have gone 5 straight rounds in hitting, which really, really, by the way, shows the change in what's happened with the pitching overall. But and he didn't go. So Manuel Clase and Matt Olson just went on the turn. I really do hate passing up pitching in this point, and shortstop is pretty deep, but Corey Seager is just too hard for me to pass up here. So I have an entire infield locked in. Pete Alonso, Jazz Chisholm, Corey Seager, Devers, and Ronald Acuna. I'm going to have to start thinking about pitching pretty hard in these next couple rounds.
Well, but you have that leeway. I'm surprised that I went for Strider. If it wasn't Strider, I don't think I would have bucked my pitching trend. I was pretty set on just locking in my hitting for the first 4 rounds or so. But,
I'd have done it if he came back to me. 1,000%.
I know. And I think that's, again, part of knowing who I'm drafting with. And you have to know that. Kevin Gossman goes at 503. Dylan Cease at 504. Justin Verlander. So a little pitching run here. Justin Mason, are you going to continue it at 506?
I was planning on doing kind of what the Welsh is doing, which was not take a starting pitcher in my first 5 picks, but I just feel like Brandon Woodruff is too good of a value at this point. I have him as a top 5 pitcher this year, so getting him in the 5th round after I've already loaded up on offense feels like a steal.
Everything is coming up Millhouse for me because Luis Robert is still on the board. So I'm loving this. I almost took him in the last round. Now he's still around for me. I think the projections are way too low on him. We got to get Ariel Cohn on the phone, see what the real projections are. After Woodruff, Bryce Harper goes at 507, which is nuts. 508 Scherzer, Urias at 509. This is perfect. So Robert, come to me, my friend. Come hang out. And then I've got a choice here. Do I start looking at closers because Josh Hader's on the board? That's a thought. I really like Carlos Rodon, though, as well with the Yankees. So I'm going to go ahead and get another starting pitcher. So I got Strider, Rodon, Robert, Rosarena, Trout, and Vladdy starting this team. Going to have to find some more steals, but go ahead. What do you
Very
got?
surprised you took Robert. I don't think I realized you're a Robert guy, especially
Oh,
with
I
like
had money
the
on him,
injury
long
stuff.
shot MVP last
Yeah,
year.
but
and I
you're
had to
just
cash
like
out.
you're like, oh, Jacob DeGrom, Byron Buxton, they get hurt, blah 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 blah, and then just like Luis Robert, bing
Yeah.
bing. You're just so
He's
happy.
just
You're
a
like, it's
boy.
okay.
He's still
I
got a
don't know.
2 in front of his
He
first
played
number
100
of age.
games ever.
That's fine. He's just a boy. Shane Bieber goes next. Schwarber, Zach Wheeler, and then 6:05, Justin Mason back on the clock with 30 seconds.
I really thought you were going to snipe me again by taking Josh Hader, but yeah, I mean,
thought about it long and hard.
Yeah, easily a top 3 closer. Would not surprise me if he's the number 1 closer in baseball this year again, after kind of getting all the off the field stuff worked out. So I like Josh Hader a lot as a closer.
Look, if I'm gonna buck my trend and not and go early pitching to go early closer too, that's just way too off Joey P brand. Like I can't do that and still come do the shows anymore with a straight face. Jordan Romano at 606, Alec Manoah 607, Starling Marte at 608. Nice value there. Welsh 609.
So I definitely would have taken Hader. There's still really good closers on the board, but in a 10-man league, I feel like I don't feel the necessity to reach, especially for a lot of these guys. A 15-team Roto, like you're going to see me going for Hader and going for Edwin Diaz and going for Clase would have been someone I really would have targeted. I just don't feel that way. There are 2 pitchers I really like on the board. I don't have any. So I'm going to lock up Christian Javier, which is above the player that the system wanted me to take. They wanted me to take Luis Castillo, and I'm staring at Luis Castillo, but ooh, my guy Zach Gallen is there, and I just can't pass up. I'm gonna go Gallen and Christian Javier and get my 2 dudes and feel pretty good about it. Did I hurt your feelings, Justin, or do you hate it?
I have Zach Gallen as a top 10 pitcher, starting pitcher this year. I love Zach Gallen. He is on just about every single one of my teams so far, and like Joe mentioned, I've already drafted like 10 teams already this
I was gonna say
draft
10.
season.
I was gonna say you did 10 today, probably.
I was over at Diamondbacks camp today too, and I was like, Gallen was there, and I was like, oh, please throw, and then it was Madison Bumgarner, and I was like, Madison Bumgarner.
It's always
watch him.
It's always a bum.
It's always a bum.
It's always a bum.
Eloy Jimenez at 703, Adelise Garcia at 704, Rutschman 705, 20 seconds for Mason left at 706.
I guess I'll take Luis Castillo. I mean,
perfectly fine consolation prize.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa at 707, Devin Williams, Alex Bregman almost made it to me. Oh, I really wanted Bregman. That would have been sweet. I really wanted that, but alas, it was not meant to be. So now I've got to go ahead and make some pivots here and take a look around at what's on the board. I'm not going to go closer here. I've already said that. The suggestions, it's telling me Max Fried, but I've already gone pitcher here, and you Darvish and those kind of guys. A lot of closers out there too. But it said I'm going to go for some more offense. Is it too early to take Corbin Carroll? I don't think it is. So I need stolen bases. Let's get some help
You're
there.
I'm done. I was trying to hold my face, and I was trying to be like, yeah, maybe it's a little too early.
Yeah, maybe it's a little too early.
Never have Corbin. You're the worst. You're the worst, though.
I am. It's something I've come accustomed to, and I still need some more stolen bases, and I need some help in the middle infield. So I'll take Tommy Edman too, and hopefully that combination will help put me over the top in this Roto, make up for some of the lack of stolen bases. And look, Carroll's got some pop too. So we've talked about in the show many times. Ryan Presley 802. Framber is the color of my energy at 803. Teoscar Hernandez at 804. Mason 805. 47 seconds on the clock.
All right, so I'm going to lean into my punt batting average kind of strategy for a Roto League and take someone who Probably not going to hit for a great average. We don't know. He hits the ball really hard. So the BABIP could be high. But we know he's going to hit a lot of home runs. We know he's going to steal a lot of bases. And I'm talking about Mr. O'Neal Cruz.
Hey, Justin, have you considered writing an article about punt strategy at all on Fantasy
You know
Pros?
what? I have. It's on Fantasy Pros. You should go read it.
I'm going to go read it right now.
I think it's a great idea.
Actually.
Max Fried at 806, Yu Darvish 807, Sal Perez at 808, Welsh 809, 43 seconds.
Oh, Kanye with the 808s, man. There's a great outfielder that's still on the board, but I also have an opportunity to double tap closers if I want, because I've kind of moved away from it. I just don't think I'm going to pass up Springer. I don't care about the little injury tag. Yeah, we're going to go Springer. Hopefully this guy, Dansby Swanson, Andres Jimenez, so I can come back. And I like the starting pitchers that are there. And there are a few closers that are still on the board. I'm going to lock up a closer, even in this 10-man. And I'm going to go with Ryan Helsley with the Cardinals. And that's going to be my first closer on the board here.
All right, there you have it. After Helsley goes to Welsh, obviously Swanson and Jimenez went at 810 and 901. Helsley, Iglesias, Gunnar Henderson, I was hoping made it back to me, did not. Wander Franco did not make it back to me either. Justin Mason at 906. You are on the clock.
Well, when you have the opportunity to stack an offense, sometimes you just have to stack the Pittsburgh Pirates offense and take Brian Reynolds, who's just underrated this draft season. I think people are downgrading him for being on the Pirates. He may not even be on the Pirates come opening day. He could be on the Dodgers or the Yankees for all we know. But I actually think the top half of that Pirates lineup is going to be pretty decent with Reynolds in it. So I like Brian Reynolds a lot.
All right. So after Reynolds, Musgrove, Abreu, Bogarts, now it is to me. Looking at some of the pitchers that are around there too, going to try to bolster this rotation of mine a little bit. I've been talking a lot about Severino, so I'm going to have to put my money where my mouth is eventually on him. But Tyler Glass now still out there as well, so I'm going to go take him first here and then kind of take another evaluation on the board. I was hoping Henderson would make it to me, but unfortunately he did not. Looking around here, again, at the needs of my team, still pretty open there at the shortstop, third base. Could use some infield help as well. Outfield, I'm good. I'm good on the outfield. We also have 2 utility spots here also. Still some warm bodies there at shortstop that I think are pretty darn good. I think I'm going to go in for the power here. I'm going to go take Willy Adames. Now, it might be a little bit of a reach. Oh, it didn't give me the reach. Look at that. The draft wizard didn't yell at me for a change. How nice.
I'm going to yell at you, though. You are annoying. We should have like we need a bot. We need a Knowing Joe bot that we can make a part of Draft Wizard that like somehow you can input. And it's like, if your friends take these players, a Knowing Joe bot comes in and he's like, hey, it's like a South Park, like the Canadian, like, hey, everybody.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing my Canada shirt today, to be fair. Just saying, to be fair. All right, let's go catch everybody up on the draft. Robbie Ray, Felix Bautista, Byron Buxton at 10:04, and then 10:05. Justin Mason with 26 seconds on the clock.
Oh, I'm a little bit torn, but I'm going to try to hope that the guy I really want comes back around to me. It didn't work out last time, but this time it's the Welsh on the turn and not Joe. So I'm going to take Nathaniel Lowe, who's just a guy who made some really, really good steps in closing some holes in the top of his swing. So I love Nathaniel Lowe as kind of a good power source.
What did that mean, by the way? What do you mean I'm on? It's an easy lock.
Joe,
your guy's going to be back there because I'm on the
wheel.
I'm funny how?
Joe did it last time. Joe did it last time, so
he trusts you more.
I trust you more. We've known each other for longer,
sir.
Oh, wow! Look at that. All right, so Kenley Jansen, Tristan McKenzie, Pasquantino, the Welsh. You are up next, and just for the record, Lowe's one of my dudes. I love that pick, Mason. I think these. Was there a more underrated, unheralded 27 home run season last year than that guy? I don't think so.
No, you guys got some sneaky picks in there. I was actually I wanted Willy Adames. I was going to lock in one of those first basemen because we got those util spots. I can't pass up Tim Anderson here. I think it's too good of a value. I was already looking at a shortstop. We get Camilo Doval and Willem Contreras. This is back where I'm a little bit torn. I got an SP that I really want, and there's a reliever that I really want. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to take the starting pitcher since I've only got 2, and you're going to give me George Kirby all day, every day. So
yeah, I figured the Kirby pick was coming pretty soon. So after Tim Anderson, Camilo Doval, William Contreras, then George Kirby, Hendricks, Webb, and then Mason's up at 11:06.
Yeah, okay. So the guy I wanted came back to me. It's the guy that I think is going to have a major breakout this year, and that's Seiya Suzuki.
That's a great
You and
pick.
Welsh love the
Yeah, it's a
Suzuki.
great pick.
He was the only player in Major League Baseball in the second half last year that had a top 25 barrel percentage and a top 25 zone contact. He's going to break out this year.
All right, there you have it. All right, I definitely need to get some sort of saves here. So at least I'm going to take Clay Holmes here. Gave me the reach alert. 71% chance we make it back. I'm not
Great
so
pick.
sure about that.
I would have that's who I was considering taking, Joe, on
Yeah, I
that
was like,
wheel
he
there.
ain't making it back to me. So looking at my roster right now, so I've got first, second, short locked up. Still looking at third, and then the corner, middle, infield spots. Still pretty good on the outfield. The suggested pick right now is actually a guy that I wanted to consider before, so I'm going to continue to drive home the Yankees pitching staff. I guess that's what I'm going to have here. I'll have Holmes. I'll have my boy Carlos Rodon and Luis Severino. So there you go. Severino on the team. Tyler O'Neill, then Reese Hoskins, Logan Gilbert. So the Mariners are gone. Justin Mason, he's an old Mariner himself. 1205. You were actually the model for the Gordon's Fisherman. I don't think a lot of people knew that.
It's very, very true.
Yeah.
You're kind of like the poster child for modeling too for fantasy baseball. That's
I
actually
was
an
gonna
honor.
say,
You're a great
he's
model. You've always been a
model
great
for
model.
years. Yeah.
We now have sold, I think, 5 total Justin Mason bathing suits. So like we're
Wow.
only 7 away from doing a calendar.
Joe,
I will get on that right
Joe?
after the show.
you
All
guys
right,
have a
Mason.
Fantasy Pros big corporate meeting together. Maybe you could surprise everybody with a little
Yeah.
Justin Mason bathing suit. Come out.
I'm all for that calendar whenever it comes out. 18 seconds on the clock.
Oh, I'm gonna take a closers to kind of go into this closer run a little bit and grab David Bednar. Just stacking those Pirates.
Great pick.
There you go, man. You love your Pirates. I love this. Staying on brand. Stephen Kwan at 1206. I know Welsh is super upset that he can't take him. 1207. Kirk, Jeremy Pena, and the Welsh at 1209.
Okie doke. I got quite a few players. Bednar was definitely near the top of the list. If 10-team league, I feel a little bit more comfortable with this again with the saves. Even if I'm bottom barreling, I'm not too worried about it. I got 2 outfielders. I've got a couple util spots. I still got to fill up this offense and only 3 starting pitchers, which is kind of where my conundrum is. So I am going to take one of my starting pitchers. We talked a lot about, yes, he's my impression, but he had one of the best, most phenomenal second halves. And if you just stop throwing that changeup, I think we're going to be elite. Blake Snell into the rotation for my 4th SP. We had Wilson Contreras and then MJ Melendez, and that left pretty much everybody else that I was vying for. And I'm looking at the outfield, and there's quite a few guys that I'm locked into. I'd be okay with this with Jake McCarthy, but you've got Christian Yelich that's still out there. And we've also talked about Taylor Ward on the bounce back. And there's a few other players here, but we're at pick 122. I kind of feel good about having a little double on Christian Yelich. So I'm going to lock in Christian Yelich as my 3rd outfielder. I think I've take off a lot of the mitigated risk that comes with Christian Yelich. And if I get even the projected 15-15, I feel good because I don't think Jake McCarthy is going to have the power output that most projections do.
All right. Contreras, Melendez go at the turn. Then you took Yelich. Santander goes at 1303. De La Cruz at 1304. Kershaw 1305. Justin Mason at 1306.
Yeah, I feel like I need a 3rd starting pitcher to go with the 2 that I've gotten so far. And there's a guy who has been previously a top 25, top 30 starter before, started the year slow last year, but ended in the second half. He was, again, a top 25 starter, proving that the first half was not age, not degradation in skills, but just, getting over that injury. I'm talking about Lance Lynn. So, love me some Lance Lynn.
One of my sleepers on yesterday's show that we recorded. I just, the guy was tremendous over his last 14 starts. First 7, about as bad as you could possibly be. After that, it was all fine. Trevor Story at 1307. That's a bad pick in the bot there. I'll have to scratch that out. Hunter Green at 1308. CJ Cron at 1309. Then it comes back to me. Oh, goodness gracious. What do I want here? This is the point in time where you think you just start taking the best guys on the board that you feel comfortable with. I'm going to go ahead and take Torres because I need some more help in the middle infield. He should not still be on the board, so I'm going to price and force there. I got a steal with the 3 claps. We love that pick. There you go. Joe Ryan next up for me. Continue to build that pitching staff out as well. So I am now
Has there been a pitcher, by the way, Mason, that has had more love in the last 5 days than Joe Ryan? I feel like it's been the Joe Ryan show. It's so funny how like there's this turnstile of fantasy analysis that goes on, and like Joe Ryan is the cup right now, the cup of tea that everybody wants to sip from.
Well, let's pause the draft and talk about that for a second. Mason, what do you think? I know we had Nick on the other day. His PLUG stat on Joe Ryan was 448. Does that bother you at all?
Yeah, does a 448 plug bother you?
I have no idea what that means. So it does not.
What do you mean you don't know what that means?
You don't know what the plug is?
I don't know what the plug is.
You're not plugged in?
I'm not plugged in. I am a lifetime member to Pitcher List Plus, but I do not know what the plug is. My biggest issue.
Well, Mason, don't feel bad because we made it up. It's not.
Oh,
real.
Thank God.
Yeah, we're doing a thing this year where we are we created a statistic called X plug, and we wanted to see if we could trip up Nick Pollock with it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, Nick is a true professional, so he was not tripped up. He recognized right away, and he was giving us crap. And I said, "You passed the test, so now you get to create your own." So he wanted it based off Pitcher List. He thought you might snag Mason.
PLVG
something.
It was PLVG that was on there, and I said, let's change it to PLUG, and we'll call it
so we can
plug.
still maintain it. So Mason, you also passed the test. So now that
Very
we pause
nice.
real quick, we'll get some of your questions in the chat. You now can create a new statistic of your own and make one up for our next guest on the next show. And I'll look at and see who that's going to be in a second. So
let me
think about Joe
this.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Think about a stat. And at the end of the show, you can create a new stat, or you can continue the X plug or the PLUG or some version of that if you want. Our next guest is Jason Collette, actually, who's going to be on.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. So think about long and hard. Joe Ryan, give us your thoughts about him, and I'll unpause this draft.
I like Joe Ryan a lot. I think the only concern is with his fly ball percentage. If we get a live ball this year, if everybody gets the Goldilocks balls, how many of those balls are going to go out of the park? So that could be a real big issue for him. Let's see. It starts in 15 seconds, so I got plenty of time.
You got plenty of time. Also, Brian C. in the chat says, how old is Welsh? He looks 30, but uses phrases from the 1850s. That's because he was on the original Oregon Trail. Why is Harper so low? Well, because he's missing 3 months plus.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not touching him near ADP. I think it's crazy. And the Bookish Bryants, what is the latest you have taken a pitcher this year, Joey P? For me, usually I don't go past the fourth. After the fourth round, I'm locking in pitchers. But again, it was more of the specific pitcher here, but I'm okay, especially in these 10-teamers, to push that envelope because I really love the guys from SP 10 to SP 30. Like that range is so much fruit. All right, speaking of delicious fruits, I don't know if that transition makes sense, but Justin Mason, you're back up to make a pick. Christian Walker gone, Bassett gone, McCarthy gone at 1404, 1405. You are up with 23 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to take Taylor Ward. I just feel like this is too good a value. I believe in what we saw in the second half or when he was healthy last year. So I'm a big fan of Taylor Ward this year.
Max Muncy goes next. Nick Castellanos at 1407. I thought he would last a little longer. I like him on the bounce back. 1408, Sean Murphy, Chris Welsh, 1409. What do you got?
I got to tell you, that comment, when I read that comment live of I look in my 30s, but I absolutely died. That got me. That was a good one. And I appreciate someone saying that I look in my 30s still, because
what were the old-timey sayings you were saying?
Like, I'm not like, hey, everybody. Hey, sarsaparilla. Isn't that great?
Yeah, I had a nice sarsaparilla. Now I dig out my mock draft there, fella.
How about that prohibition, everybody? I don't know. All right, that actually completely distracted me. There's one of my I've lost my train of thought on the whole thing. One of my pitchers that is near the top 100 overall, I think, is a fantastic value here. It's Nick Lodolo with the Reds. Nice. I love Nick Lodolo. I've talked a lot about the curveball, 46% whiff rate. I liken that. I think he can even be better than what Hunter Green is, and Hunter Green's a big candidate to bust out. Chris Bryant went with the next pick, and then Ketel Marte, and I was looking long and hard at Chris Bryant, and I wouldn't have minded that. I think what I'm going to do here, I've got a couple pitchers. I want to get another reliever. This isn't the best reliever, but Daniel Bard still gets saves, and that's a little bit of a constant. So I'm going to take Daniel Bard, even though I really like a few other speculative guys, but I'm trying to win this mock, fellas.
Okay, trying to win the mock. Stanton goes after Bard. Ketel Marte and Chris Bryant, by the way, went at the turn before in between Welsh's picks. Stanton at 1503, then Freddie Peralta at 1504. And the fear of God was put in us yesterday by Nick Pollock on that show. Go check it out about Freddie Peralta's shoulder. Ian Happ at 1505, and Justin Mason up next with the next pick.
There's a pitcher that a lot of people are scared of because of injuries in similar ways to like Freddie Peralta, but I'm not very scared because all of his injuries last year were really, really fluky. That's Chris Sale, who looked really, really good after coming back from Tommy John surgery, but missed time with a rib injury after falling off of a bike, got hit with a comebacker. I think he's going to come out and just be electric this year. Give me all the shares of Chris Sale.
Okay, all the shares of Chris Sale, you can have them. I don't want any of them. Scott Barlow at 1507, Ahmed Rosario at 1508, Giolito at 1509. Oh, so close. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just look. I'm going to get hammered on this by the draft wizard. I don't care. I'm taking Andres Munoz, just doing it. I need closer help. That's what I need.
Almost went there.
Yeah, well, I was a little worried when you were talking it up. I said, oh, no, I'm not even going to get him. So I got my fallback plan. It's not going to project enough. It's going to hurt me in saves on the draft wizard. But again, this is just projecting into the future. Looking at the suggestions here, Ryan Mountcastle on the board, decent pick. Charlie Morton, I could certainly go there too. Brandon Nimmo also available. He helps me in a couple spots as well, but I'm still a little behind on the power. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ryan Mountcastle and try to get another 25 home runs. And guess what? I got the 3 claps again. Hooray! Jimmy Dugan told me to avoid those, but here in the draft wizard, you want to get them. Ryan Mountcastle goes to me, then Cronenworth, Merrifield, and Rizzo. Between Mason and myself, Scott Barlow, Ahmed, Rosario, Giolito, all off the board. So after Rizzo at 1604, Mason's up next at 1605.
A little torn here. Number of guys I really like, but I think I'm going to go back to the starting pitching and take Jordan Montgomery, who again was fantastic after he was traded to St. Louis, has the best infield defense in the majors behind him, a great park to pitch in, still a great division to pitch in. Love Jordan Montgomery this year.
Yeah, okay. Montgomery followed by Stevenson, Jesus Luzardo. Great conversation yesterday about his ex-plug on the show. Tony Gonsolin in 1608. Welsh, you're up at 1609. Welsh, you are up at 1609. Can you hear me?
I am back.
Okay, there you go.
The whole world stopped. The
whole world stopped. I'll stop the world and I'd melt with you.
All right.
See the difference. It's getting better.
All the time. Yeah, all the time, my friend. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too awkward. I am torn because I have quite a few players that I want, and I don't know if I can fit them all in, Joe. So we are going to
into your team or into me. That was kind of scary for a second. Like, you got 10 seconds. Make a pick before it gets awkward.
I just can't pass up Rowdy Tellez. I'm going to lock that up with the big power. That one's going to hurt me because it's going to take someone I really want away. Eugenio Suarez, Alexis Diaz went, another of the kind of last remaining big closers that are on the board. As far as pitchers go, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starting pitchers, 2 closers. I want to shore up a little bit more, and there's a couple guys that I really like on here, plus another hitter, but I think I can sneak him in. I'm going to go with Charlie Morton, old but assured with the strikeouts. Give me Charlie Morton in here, and I will cross some fingers that things come my way.
All right, so old man Morton goes in between. You had Suarez and Diaz off the board. 1703 after Welsh takes Morton. You get Fairbanks, Andrew Vaughn, one of my guys, my sneaky picks. He is off the board. Nico Horner off the board. 1706, who's off the board next? And on to Mason's team.
Ooh, I'm really torn on a number of different guys here.
Lots of torn here. Everyone's torn up. Everyone's really emotional.
Natalie and Brugge, man.
Very, very much so.
This is going to be a little bit of, I think it's going to be a reach to the FantasyPros software, but I really like Jonathan India as a bounce back guy this year. I'm going to hit high up in that Reds lineup in that park. Really, really interesting guy to target at a weak position at second base.
Okay, so after India, Duran, Diaz, Nimmo, I like that pick too. I think India's a great value there. All right, 1710, looking around the house, seeing what's available here. It's telling me to take Seawald, but I'm not going to do that because I've already put my money where Munoz is. So I'm not going to do that. Not
Jose
gonna
Leclerc,
happen.
I'll tell you, Joe, I've
That's
been over at Rangers camp a whole bunch. Jose Leclerc has worked with all the main starters and has been treated very much in closer variety over Barlow over there. Just if it means anything to anybody, if they're
Well,
curious.
it does, and he's one of my fallback closers, and that's actually who I was lined up. It gave me the reach, but that's okay. I'm at peace with that. Looking around at what is needed continuously on my team now, I'm trying to fill the rest of the roster spots. I still need a third baseman, and boy, that third base well does dry up. It is gross out there. It's terrible. You always get to that point of draft where you make a pick and you hate it, but because it's Roto, I need more power here too. I'll take the 29 homers and the 83 RBIs or whatever he's going to give me, and I'll suffer Matt Chapman's batting average and hope for the best here. It's gross. In a head-to-head, I would never do this, but in Roto, hopefully the ebbs and flows will not be too bad. So I'll go ahead and I got a steal. So I'm back in the game here. Polanco, Haniger, Renfroe. I'm starting to think Haniger and Renfroe are becoming one person this year. You getting that feeling, Welsh? I feel like
they seem,
morphing
well, I
into
don't know.
this
Hunter
one
Renfroe's a little bit
generic
more
guy.
powery. Yeah. I mean,
I
they
don't
might
know.
be two guys where it's like if they were one guy, it would be a monster fantasy asset.
Yeah, they might play 85 games between them too.
To me,
Justin
Conforto and Haniger are like the same player on the
Maybe.
same team, and I get confused.
Mason, you're up at 1805.
Yeah, I think I need a little bit more power too. So I'm going to grab a guy who we know has power, is in a full-time role in Cleveland, and that's Josh Bell. So
Okay. Josh Bell next here
All
for
right.
Mason. Let's continue on and see what comes next, bringing up the board. So after Mason takes Bell, then you get Pablo Lopez, another one of my guys, Brandon Lau at 1807, Luis Ariz at 1808, and then the Welsh at 1809.
So my plan has worked. These are my guys. You should be able to guess if you listen to anything I do anywhere of the two players that are about to come because they're both available. I don't expect the system to love these because they're not quite showing up, but I have to have them. And I'm actually going to be sneaky knowing this platform that Jeffrey Springs is much higher than the next guy I'm taking. And if you don't know I'm taking Lars Nootbaar next, then you don't know me, as Dustin May and Merle Kelly just went. So I am running to the draft room to get my Lars Nootbaar, and I locked up both players, and I literally couldn't be happier now.
I almost took Springs instead of taking Leclerc.
I felt it resonating.
I was going to, and I was like, look, I don't want Welsh
Yeah.
to just walk off the show. That would just be upsetting.
I felt it coming, man.
It was close. Dustin May at 1810, Merle Kelly at 1901. Then the Nootbaar is open for Welsh at 1902. Luis Garcia at 1903. Verdugo shining bright like a diamond in his mouth. Boy, that was a way to spend your money there.
What?
Estrada at 1905 and Mason at 1906. You saw those pictures, right, Welsh? You saw the Verdugo
in his
new
mouth?
grill?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, it was a little abrupt how you did that. It caught me off guard a little bit.
Very upsetting. Well, it's a little abrupt when I saw it on the social media, and it was a little scary. I was like, well, look at that. That's a lot. All right, Mason, who you got here? 15 seconds.
I'm taking Brady Singer, another one of my guys. I
Nice.
really like him as a pitcher. I don't know that the system's going to like him as much for me, but I think he's going to be a top 30, 35 starter this year.
Love that pick. I think that's a tremendous pick there by you, Justin Mason. Beautiful work, as always. All right, so I got some utility spots here left to put out there. It's going to take a solid player. Ty France is a solid player. It's a suggestion. I like Ty France there. Oh, I got another steal. Draft Wizard's liking me. I don't know. I feel like I never win the draft. I don't like second, third, fourth place. I never win the draft. I don't know if it's going to be the winner this one today. We shall see. I don't like Alec Bowman. I'm not going to go that route there. I do need a catcher. I tend to wait on catcher for quite a while. But alas, we are getting towards the nitty and the gritty here, as it were. Oscar Gonzalez is out there looking around too at some other players here. Brian Hayes, who I'm not a big fan of. The well's dried up, boys and girls. I just go ahead and take some more steals too. Could do that here with Vaughn Grissom. That's an interesting pick there. Could also take Miranda, Josh Naylor, all those guys out there. But I don't know. There's so many ways to go. There's only 15 seconds. Oh, the time is going on me.
What will he do?
What will I do? I'm going to go ahead and I'll take another pitcher here, and I'll take Garcia and just continue to round out that staff here a little bit. So give me Garcia in Houston. I don't love that pick. I'm not happy about it. I got forced into time. Paul Sewald.
I feel like you missed Kodai Senga, who went.
Well, I had him in. Yeah. I had him in the queue, and I thought, okay, he'll make it to the next one on me. I thought
moving
for sure.
Up, Joey. He's moving up.
He is moving up. So now I'm mad that Senga goes right after Sewald. So he was the one in the back pocket, and then someone picked my pocket. So I'm mad at Team 8. Rasmussen at 2004. Justin Mason up at 2005.
Well, when you're drafting at this point of draft, especially in a 10-team league, what are you shooting for? You're shooting for upside. You're shooting for a guy who could just absolutely explode and give you first-round value this late in the draft. There's one guy that can definitely do that because he's been a former first-round pick. That's Cody Bellinger.
Oh, the Cody Bellinger. I am so mad about Kodai Senga right now. I can't believe he didn't make it back to me. I'm so mad about that. Oh, now that's it. That's it. That's where the draft ended. By the way, everybody, don't forget, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel on MLB. And don't forget, if you drop a comment here in the chat, we're going to pick somebody lucky to win a free upgrade to our premium product at Fantasy Pros. So make sure you check that out as well. Let's go to the next selection on the board. Justin Mason just took Cody Bellinger, then Miranda, LeMahieu, Drury, Welsh up with 28 seconds and 2009 pick.
This is not my guy, guys, but we're at 199 and Ke'Bryan Hayes has not gone. And that's third base stinks, and I get some stolen bases. I'm just not going to pass that up because I did want Jose Miranda there. Barrios and Mali went right after that. By the way, system says that was an 83% reach on Ke'Bryan Hayes. That
really
is wild. That seems broken. That's crazy. Like
that seems broken.
That's wild.
Well, the power projections are very low for him, but look, it's you stop Justin Mason from taking all of the Pirates. I think that's the only good thing.
Well, yeah, I couldn't afford to take another Pirate.
Legitimately. Jose Barrios, Tyler Mahle, Welsh up at 2102.
Yeah, you talk about upside. Anytime we're going to start, especially looking at pitchers that are rookies, it's not going to help in projections, but this is a bench player. Grayson Rodriguez is an absolute steal at 202 for if he was going to break camp with that team. And I think he can push 130, 140 innings. And I was talking with Eno's got him in the 40 range as far as SP. So this is a steal, I think. Okay.
So after you took Grayson Rodriguez, Vaughn Grissom, who I was considering in my last pick at 2003, 2104, Alec Bohm, Walker Buehler 2105, Justin Mason 2106. We're into the bench realm now, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy who I guess wouldn't be on my bench would be a catcher, and I hate taking a catcher this early in a 10-team league, but I guess I'll take Danny Jansen, who had just a really, really good second half last year. So
yeah, look, if you weren't going to do it, I was. John Gray, who I had my eye on, he's gone. Harrison's gone. Eovaldi, all the Texas Rangers are gone at 21-10. I'm still on tilt from the Kodai Senga thing, guys. Honestly,
I could tell. We can feel
mad. I was like, I got this in my back pocket. He's still so low in ADP. I guess people must be listening to the show, Welsh. That's all I can think of.
Maybe.
Reed Detmers will be on my team. I will take him for some pitching depth. So that was my backup plan. So I have to pivot there. Okay, now looking around what the suggestion is, Oscar Gonzalez, it gives me a little bit of everything. That's the highest guy on the board. So I'm going to listen to the draft wizard and see if that helps me here. Oh, I got another steal. That's a lot of steals, Welsh. I have never gotten this many positive reactions ever from the draft wizard. It might be.
Oh, just the draft wizard, you mean? Not.
In life. Well, in life, forget it.
Right.
Never. Travis d'Arnaud at 2202. And then we have Phillips, Heaney, Justin Mason at 2205.
All right, so I was saying you should shoot for upside, but what I need right now is some ratio stabilization. And where do you get that? You get that from Miles Mikolas again on the Cardinals, getting that great defense behind him. Not going to give a lot of strikeouts, but he's going to give you wins and he's going to give you good ratio help.
All right, so help with the ratios is on its way. Schreiber, Bader, Rogers goes next. Welsh at 2209. You're up.
Well, there's not a lot of good players left. That's the bad news for everybody. Most of the players that are good, they are far gone. So we're having to play a little bit of a reaching game here. And I have a util spot. I got to catch. You guys kind of ruined the catching, anything I could do sneaky with the catching spot, unfortunately. So I can't play around with that. I think I'm going to go with, this might be a little of a homer pick, but he has a couple position qualifications, stolen bases near 20 at util. I'm going to go with Josh Rojas as one of my picks here. And then we have Lance McCullers and Tyler Anderson is in there. And then it comes back to me for just another group of not good players. Like, what happened? This is a 10-team league. Where have all the good players and the Cowboys gone, friends? Because I don't see them.
I don't know.
right.
Even a 10-team league, it is kind of crazy how that drop off is there this year. And like,
Yeah.
we can only hope that the shift and, some of the other changes and some of these younger players with a little bit more time in the big leagues, like that offense kind of rejuvenates in 2023, because if you're just looking at projection wise, it's kind of sour.
It's a little bit.
Mhm.
All right. I kind of want to thinking about starting to get tricky around here, but I think there's a pretty good value on the board still at pitcher, and this can be another bench pitcher. I'm going to go with Patrick Sandoval. I'm going to lock in with the Angels. I think it's a pretty good upside, especially outside the top 200. And I finally got some clappity claps with a
Nice.
steal. So Fantasy Pros is very happy with me. Thank you.
Clappity claps for Welsh, everybody. Joey Meneses at 2303, Montas 04, Jorge Lopez next, Justin Mason at 2306.
A little torn on what to do here.
Name me one good player, Justin. Name me one good player that's still on the board.
Well, you got to remember, I'm used to like 15 team 50 round draft and holds right now, so everybody looks good to me.
Yeah.
These guys actually still play, so
That's true.
A different thing. I'm gonna take a guy that I don't think I've taken much this year. Oh, you know what? Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna take another starting pitcher. I'm just gonna pretty much clean sweep the Cardinals rotation and take Jack Flaherty, who again, huge upside if he's healthy, could be a top 25 starting pitcher.
Do you think Flaherty is that guy that is that a risk that you are going to take in some leagues on Flaherty?
Yeah, I've taken it a few times because it's going so late. Like it's just it's a worthy gamble. You just can't take a lot of risks, right? So you got to kind of pick and choose the ones you're willing to take.
All right, so Kybert Ruiz goes next, then Hughes, Turner, up to me. I'm going to go ahead and take JD Martinez because he shouldn't be on the board anymore.
That's who I was going to take too.
Well, there we go. So JD Martinez off to me. Now I feel a little bit better, but I'm still mad about the Kodai Senga. I'm just going to bitch and moan about that for the rest of the show. Some other interesting guys, I still light on save, so I'll go ahead and take Finnegan and just kind of grin and bear it here. Cabrera, McMahon, Martin Perez, Justin Mason at 2405 as we're getting to the nitty gritty here.
Oh, yeah. I think I need another closer as well. So I'm trying to decide between which of the two guys I want to take. I think I'm going to go with Alex Lang. I'm pretty sure he's going to get the job there in Detroit. He's got the best skills of the guys left in that bullpen. So Alex Lang, decent, third closer.
Okay. Looking next here for you, the Welsh, as I continue to move on, we have Lang, then Gurriel, Jonaheim, as we like to call him here on the show, Alex Cobb, and the Welsh at 2409.
Jonaheim. So I've definitely, I don't care about the projections here, though they're relatively favorable. And I started to get worried because this guy started to pop up and he started to show his face. And I did not want that to happen on here. And that is, did he go? Is that going to screw me? Everything just got weird here. I am looking for Miguel Vargas. There he is. I don't know why he didn't go on my queue here. Miguel Vargas, a little bit lower as far as like lift goes, but he's going to have that second base job. Projections are not nuts. Hairline fracture in the pinky. Not worried about it because he could play this weekend. Give me Miguel Vargas as a bench bat. That is the best way you could approach one of those guys. And then
Birdie, then Bauer go, and then back to you at 2502.
Yep. And coming back here, things are not easy in our world, Joe. Things don't come easy to us. There's still a bat to be had. I don't have a catcher, and I've already got two bench starting pitchers here. Gosh, I hate all these players. I'm going to just lock this in. Not that it even matters, but I'm going to get my catcher. I'm going to get Yasmani Grandal. I actually saw Gabriel Moreno today, but Carson Kelly is still their kind of big catcher that they're working with. He was working with everybody as he's going to be out there, but he's not going to be the number one catcher. So Yasmani Grandal is the next best. I really got kind of screwed on catcher. I did it to myself being last.
Oh, look, I did it to myself as well. I was going to take Jansen when Mason took him, but then after that, I was like, well, it's gone now, so I'm just going to let it go. Josh Young, great pick there at 2503. Love that. Ashby at 2504. Sean Manaea at 2505. The Reclamation Project. Justin Mason, 2506. You're up.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with the guy who's going to best help my chances at beating you guys in this draft, which I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But Fantasy Pros is recommending Javier Baez, another one of those punt batting average kind of guys. Don't care about the batting average, but it'll give you everything else. So Javier Baez, my dude right here.
All right, so Baez is the next guy there. All right, so I have to finally grit and bear it and take a catcher here. Gosh, not a fan of any of these guys that are still out there. What do you think, Welsh? I mean, Moreno, I know wasn't going to help me win this draft, so to speak. From a projection standpoint, Shea's the guy in Oakland, but it's telling me Christian Vasquez, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the Christian Vasquez. It was a guy that I've had in the past many, many times, and it's fine. I'll go ahead and just throw Josh Naylor on the bench too there, just another bat here, and we'll see what unfolds. Melanson, Suarez, Jordan Walker goes at 2604. Mason at 2605. Your final pick.
All right. I don't think this guy's necessarily going to help me win. Except for did he just go is the question.
I know. I had that with Miguel Vargas. I'm like, did he go?
He did. I just got sniped on Jordan Walker. Well, that's
right before.
Yeah, great pick.
There you go.
Great pick by robot.
Yeah, stupid robot. All right. Now I have no idea what to do. Here, so,
what about I did all these 50 player drafting?
Yeah, the players are so good.
It was so easy to do this draft.
All right. Well, I guess I could just take the best player left on the board right now, and that is somebody. I'm gonna take Riley Green here. Another upside pick. I don't know that he's going to take a huge, massive step forward, but he could, and I could win the draft.
You could win the draft and the hearts and minds of the people. Sonny Gray goes next. Go ahead, Welsh. You're up for that last pick there.
I decided to go with Andrew Benintendi. That was actually a little bit of a play to try to help my projections. I was watching some of the categories on Fantasy Pros. Cool thing you can do when you do the drafts. If you click over categories, you can watch it go. I was dominating hitting. Then I went pitching heavy, brought pitching up. My hitting started to come down. I don't like it, guys. I don't think I'm going to get a very good grade on this one, which I actually really like this team.
I'm at 86 out of 100. So what'd they give you?
I got an 80 out of 100 because I really fell out. I punted batting average, essentially. I think I was like the second to whatever worst here. And I was unfortunately beat by you. And it is a travesty, Joe, when we talk about what just happened with Justin Mason, too.
Justin Mason almost broke the Wizard. 99. Number one.
Is that
team
good?
Here.
Is that good?
Pretty good.
It's good, Mason.
Is that good?
It's very good. All of your experience in your many deep 100-player leagues is shown here, which is why we wanted you on the show. We wanted you to show everybody the way to do it. So tell us.
He's like an AI bot, by the way. He's like an AI bot.
Who liked your draft the most, too, by the way? More than any other expert, who was that? Just out of curiosity.
I'm going to guess it was Justin Mason. No, Josh Shepardson of Fantasy Pros.
There you go.
I'm surprised that Justin Mason of Fantasy Pros doesn't like it the most. That seems a little weird, but I like it a lot. I play these games to win. And clearly, I have won this game.
You could have had 99 is about as good as it gets. I got to say, I like my roster quite a bit, the way it all panned out. Senga is the one thing that got away from me. Other than that, I'm happy. Thumbs up I get from Ariel Cohen and Pat Fitzmaurice. So there you go. Thumbs down from Scott White. Of course, Kelly Kirby hates my draft. She always does. I respect Kelly for the Wonky Penguin, always hating my draft. Welsh, who liked your draft and disliked you?
My number one hater was also Kelly. We did show Kelly's just absolutely hating on it. The number one like was Jason Kemlowski with Fantasy Pros. He liked mine the most, and Kelly. So Fantasy Pros loved and hated mine the most. And again, I would tell you, I ended up hitting positionally. I was 4th in hitting and 7th in pitching. So it really kind of went back and forth. Regardless of it, in a 10-team league, I really like the construction of this team. I have elite power. I've got great stolen bases. I love the pitching. Maybe I needed to take one more closer, but in 10-man, you have so much more flexibility. Funny enough, I gave you crap about Luis Robert. What if I had drafted Luis Robert at 5'2" and drafted a shortstop later instead of Corey Seager? It says my score would have been significantly higher, Joe.
Yes. Well, reminding everybody too, don't forget, we're not doing it today, but you want to get a chance to get a premium upgrade so you can see a lot of the tools here on the Draft Wizard. Make sure you drop a comment below for that 1-year premium upgrade here at Fantasy Pros. And don't forget, if you're playing on multiple platforms, you can set all of your lineups in one spot on Fantasy Pros. So if you got an NFBC team, you got a Fantrax team, you got a team CBS and there and here, one-stop shopping. You don't have to go from app to app. You just need Fantasy Pros. It is a time saver. It is a lifesaver. It's great. You can also see all the free agent wires too. So our tools are better than anybody out there. So if you haven't gotten familiar with them, get to know them. Let's get to know Justin Mason's team too. Let's see what perfection looks like, because 99, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. Danny Jansen at catcher, Nathaniel Lowe, my dude at first base, Altuve at second, O'Neill Cruz at short, Manny Machado, Josh Bell, Jonathan India, Cedric Mullins, Brian Reynolds, Seiya Suzuki, and Taylor Ward. You know what's funny about this offense? It doesn't necessarily jump out at you and saying this is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh my God, look at these bangers. It's a lot of guys that just kind of get the job done. It's like the Cedric Mullins, the lunch pail kind of Brian Reynolds guys, which I think is fascinating, that it shows you, like, just try to get a good player at every spot and you're going to have a good team. You have Javier Baez, Riley Green, of course, Shohei Ohtani. He's pretty good. I'm sure that has something to do with getting a good grade. Two players in one does not hurt. Brandon Woodruff, Josh Hader, Luis Castillo, Bednar, Lance Lynn, Chris Sale, Jordan Montgomery, Brady Singer, Cody Bellinger on the bench with Mikolas, Flaherty, and Lang. What are your thoughts on this roster here?
I mean, I love this roster. You know who doesn't like this roster is Joe Pisapia of FantasyPros. Gave me a thumbs down. You know, what I love about this kind of team, and like you said, it doesn't like scream of star power or like guys with like really big carrying tools in fantasy. That's sometimes how you want to build a roster. You stay balanced all the way through. And that way, if you lose one guy, it's not a massive hit to one category, right? And this also kind of shows you, hey, punting batting average can work. I didn't finish last in the category, but I was able to load up on all the other categories. Every single one of my hitting categories other than average was top 3. It propelled me to the victory right here.
There you go. Welsh, Yasmani Grandal, Alonso, Chisholm, Corey Seager, Devers, Tellez, Tim Anderson, Ronald Acuna, Springer, Yelich, the Newtbar, Cabrian Hayes, Benintendi. You do have some more star power, obviously. Acuna, Devers, Chisholm, Alonso. That's some big star power there. Christian Javier in the rotation, along with Gallen, Helsley, Kirby, Blake Snell, Lodolo, Charlie Morton, Daniel Bard, Jeffrey Springs, Grayson Rodriguez, and on the bench, Rodriguez on the bench with Sandoval, Rojas, and Vargas. So how do you feel about this roster looking back on it? It looks pretty solid. This seems like a Welsh team to me. And it seems like Welsh is on mute because he is a professional here.
I am 100% on mute. Yep, 100% on mute.
Going to write an article
dummy
about that.
Yeah, did you know I wrote an article about not putting yourself on mute? When you do, it's coming up on FantasyPros really soon. I do a video too. Yeah, no, this is 100% a me team. Projections are not going to play like super nice with rookies sometimes. And I do have 2, Miguel Vargas and Grace Rodriguez, but they're on the bench. It's exactly what you want to do. Also, it is a little bit tougher in a roto format. This is always the mock drafts. You want to experiment. You should experiment with different draft strategies. I didn't take a starting pitcher until the 5th. Push comes to shove. That's really not necessarily what I'm going to do. But in a 10 team, I feel like I have more flexibility. I think Christian Javier has a lot more upside. I think Nick was on here saying Javier was this year's Strider, and then Hunter Green was this year's Christian Javier. I love Jeffrey Springs. I love Newt Bar, which is not necessarily on the rest of the crew here. So I don't have a lot of holes. The catcher thing stunk. Stupid, crappy catcher that really, really stinks. But overall, I really like what I did, especially with pushing my pitching back a bit. Blake Snell and Nick Lodolo at like 3-4 SP. That's pretty ideal. But, you know, I'm going to lack in the starting pitcher department because I waited. But yeah, sign me up even though I got an 80 grade.
I gotta say, I mean, I got an 86, but I like this team. Vasquez, obviously, I'm hurting a catcher, but that's catcher. Who cares? Vlad Guerrero Jr., Tommy Edman. I got my stolen bases there in the roto format. The Willie Adames got some power there. Chapman, again, power. It's empty, but it's season-long roto, so it doesn't matter wherever he ebbs and flows. Ryan Mountcastle, Gleyber Torres, Mike Trout, Rosa Reyna, Robert and Carroll. Holy cow, Welsh. I love this outfield. Trout, Rosa Reyna, Robert and Carroll. I'll go to war with that any day. JD Martinez and Ty France in the utility spots. I like this rotation too. Spencer Strider, Carlos Rodon, Glasnow, Severino, Holmes, Ryan, and then Munoz, Garcia, Leclerc. On the bench is Oscar Gonzalez, Naylor, Detmers, and Finnegan. Mason, what do you think of that pitching staff here where I got the 2 Yankees and Rodon and Severino, Joe Ryan, Glasnow, and Spencer Strider? What are your thoughts on this group?
My only issue with that group is the injury risk that's kind of inherent in it with Glasnow, Severino, Rodon. I like Severino, Rodon a lot. I'm not on the Tyler Glasnow love. I feel like he's going to be one of these guys that is going to be going way too high as we start getting into some of these bigger money and home league drafts that happen in March. People are realizing or seeing the upside and not remembering, dude has never thrown 130 innings at the major league level in a season. And he's now coming off a season where he threw like 6 innings. I don't want to have anything to do with Tyler Glass now.
Yeah, Glasnow is one of those guys that I typically don't go for, but I went for the upside there because I liked how the pitching was there already, and I didn't have to rely on him as my number 2 guy, as my 3. I'm a little more looking forward to that. I hope everyone's looking forward to this weekend, because if you haven't already, go follow Justin Mason over on Twitter at Justin Mason FWFB and go help out Potapalooza. It's a great cause. With the game we love of baseball, trying to help folks and kids continue their love of the game. So go there, be a part of it. Some amazing people are a part of this over a 2-day event. Mason does this every year for different charities, and it's a fantastic piece. So go check it out. It's on the YouTube channel. All the information will be on Twitter about it. And of course, Justin Mason might have written an article or two on Fantasy Pros. Go check them out too. I'm so happy that he's here with us now. Mike Mayer recruited and signed him, by the way. Well, Sean, if you know that, the recruiting process, I think it was a 12-pack of Marlboro Lights and a couple energy drinks, and that was about all it took, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good offer, though.
And I put the Fantasy Pros hat on during National Signing Day and everything.
Oh, so good. So good. What more can you ask for than that? I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And again, click that little bell for notifications, subscribe, and share this video around. Make sure you subscribe to our Fantasy Pros MLB channel. Again, it's different than the other ones, and it's special because it's got me and the Welsh talking baseball every single day during the season. You can't get that. It's wham bam, fantastic baseball show you get every single day. We're going to talk fantasy. We're going to talk about wagering. We're going to do DFS. We do it all there. So make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. We're almost at 10K subs. I want to see that get up there. So go ahead, tell your friends, tell everybody you know, and subscribe today and join us here at Fantasy Pros and check out the Draft Wizard. Go run some mock drafts yourself. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Welsh and Mason, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. And thanks, Chris, for hanging out with us and running the whole show. What a mensch that guy is. I love our producer. All right, cut